This is out of my normal Inspire Scope environment. Normally you see me on my little set that I've built for you guys, where I have the big TV screen and all of that stuff going on. But today, like I said, I'm on the road, and I've been sitting on this word of the day for like 2 days because I've been waiting to try to get back into the home studio to actually use that to scope. And I said, Mario, you're just sitting on this information. You need to go ahead and share it. Stop holding on to it. Just give it to the people. And so I wanted to give you my word of the day for today before I head out to New York City. And I'll be scoping some behind the scenes of that as well. Headed out to New York for some big stuff as it relates to the TV show that we're working on building ourselves. But today's word of the day is toxic. Somebody type that in. Yes, Dr. Jana, give it to the people. I know. Sometimes I just like to really do my Inspire Scope moments very consistent with the production quality. But I got to get this out there because toxic is the word of the day. And if you know the definition, the word toxic, by the way, thank you guys for popping that in there. Eric, Daryl, and Real Miss Feisty. Thank you, Khan56, for inviting followers. Much love for that. Really appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much. The word toxic, the first thing you should think of is something that's harmful, something that's dangerous. A lot of people use the word toxic as it relates just to relationships. But the word toxic is way more important than just relationships. Ethan's in the house. Reggie, thank you. The word toxic for today, think about it. This word came out in about the 1600s. The word toxic came out in around the 1600s. The word toxic is defined as something that has the effect of or is poisonous. Has the effect of poison or is poisonous. When you just think about that for a second, then you realize that word can actually kill you. Whitey Cracker, what up? Yo, man, I'm in here just dropping some quick word of the day motivation on my people really quick, man. Whitey Cracker's my dude, man. You guys got to follow Whitey Cracker. This dude's off the chain, and we're working on the TV show together for Spike, which is looking amazing, by the way. I just saw my first glimpse of that, of the piece of it, Bryce, and it looks crazy, man. I hope they get that show greenlit. We're going to help so many people. My word of the day is toxic. And here's the deal. You can have toxic relationships. You can have toxic friends. You can have toxic parents. You can have toxic situations, a toxic boss. You can have toxic thoughts. I don't even know if people realize this, but some of us have toxic thoughts. So don't just think about it like toxic is something that's always going to come into my body and something that I have to deal with if it comes into my body. That's BS, because toxic is actually something you can be producing yourself. You don't even have to have the intent of developing toxins or developing toxic thoughts, and they can be happening. And if you haven't had toxic thoughts, you're not human. Like, straight up, just be real with me. If you haven't had toxic thoughts, even if you know that you're a good person, or even if you know that you're a well-meaning person, if you have not had toxic thoughts, you, in my book, are not human. I want to know what programs you. I want to know what planet you're from. I want to know what code created you, because I want a piece of that code. Because if you are a human being, you will have toxic thoughts. Toxic people are easy to identify. You can identify toxic people. Toxic people that are, always putting you down, always telling you what you can't do, or always have some type of drama, always have maybe some negative pull, some negative current, some negative gravity to them. So that's easy to kind of see, all right? And that's easy to deal with. You should know a toxic situation when you're in one. When it's not healthy, you know you're in a toxic relationship or a toxic situation. You can really identify that. You know what's harder to identify? Yes, Steel Lens, that's exactly it. You know what's harder to identify? Those damn toxic thoughts. That's like the real, oh, I'm good, I'm a nice person. I mean well to people. I don't think anything evil of anybody. I don't want anything to hurt anybody. I don't wish I had something better than someone else. I don't compare myself to other people. I don't compare myself to this other scoper, to this person that's to the right of me at work. I don't compare myself to the person that got the job that I feel I should have gotten. Like, these are hard to identify, and it's poison. These are toxic thoughts. Able Digital wants to know, how do you remove them? Very, very great question. I wanted to make sure I got to the point of people really understanding and seeing that how serious I feel about toxic thoughts before I got into solutions that have worked for me. I am a human being, people. I have bad toxic thoughts. Yes, that's one way to really help with it at FrizzXX. Following Jesus definitely can help with that. Having, and if Jesus isn't your spiritual guidance, having some spiritual grounding, having some faith system can absolutely help you with this. So that's one part of the solution. The first thing, yes, Nicole, that was actually what I'm going to say first. Able Digital, before you can get rid of toxic thoughts, you have to actually admit and be able to see when you have them. If you can't identify when you actually have a toxic thought, you can't remedy it. If you can't identify your code or what type of code it is, you cannot get the right prescription or take the right steps to cure that code. You have to be able to identify it. So I'm going to assume you know that you have toxic thoughts, like all of us do. And I'm going to assume that we know that we have these thoughts. I'm going to assume that we want to now try to figure out, Mario, how do we stop this? I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to have these thoughts come into my mind. Comparing yourself to others is not necessarily toxic. Depends on how it impacts you. That's a good point. I think comparison, for the most part in our culture, has gone overboard. I don't know. Nicole Hunt's like, I'm a therapist. We got to do like a joint scope together then, Nicole. I don't know. I'm basing this non-medicine, okay? This is Mario Armstrong. You guys know me from being on the Today Show, talking about technology. You know me as an entrepreneur, pursuing building my companies, pursuing building our business. We have 10 team members that work for Mario Armstrong Media. You also know me as the guy that never settles, that never gives up, that helps you identify what your passion is in life and helps you understand how you can use technology to really explode your personal growth to achieve the goals and things you want to achieve in life, to not let you be complacent. Complacency breeds regret. And I'm trying to reduce the amount of regret syndrome in the world, because more people that don't regret are more people that are happy, are more people that will achieve. And if I can have a part of helping you do that with bringing my expertise in technology, of helping you understand the type of technology you can use to really achieve your personal growth, whatever that may be, that's why we started the Never Settle Club. So my point is, I'm basing this from my human experience. Every time I scope, it's not somebody else's words. It's not based off of someone else's scripture. This is my experiences, my life, my situations, and the things that I've been exposed to. I've been blessed to be exposed to so many things. And so I'm just sharing what's been real for me. For me, Dr. Jana, is, and I respect you. For me, toxic is comparing yourself to a coworker is toxic. You're right in that it depends on how it impacts you. If you are strong enough to recognize that comparing yourself to another person is in and of itself toxic, just think about it. Like, why compare myself? The only person you should be comparing yourself to is you. The minute we compare ourselves to anyone else, it is a toxic thought in my book. Straight up and down. That's just how I feel about it. I do feel that for some of you that really are deep rooted in knowing that it's a toxic thought, but you still want to figure out, you still need something to compare yourself to help you achieve better results for you, then that's when it can, and I think that's what Dr. Jana is getting to, that's when the impact of it has a positive impact. Okay? But just the comparison in and of itself is toxic. I just did this damn thing yesterday. I just looked up someone else's bio on Periscope and was like, how the hell do they have that many followers and I don't? That was a toxic ass thought. Straight up and down. I'm looking at their scopes. I'm looking at the last several scopes that they did. I'm like trying to like analyze their whole situation to try to understand why my situation is the way it is. What? What? Do you know how much time I just lost in my day? Do you know how much time I just lost in my life? Do you know what I just did to my mind and to my spirit and to my heart by just doing that? It was a toxic move. I love that, Nicole. You are the only dictionary that can define you. Yes, you can compare yourself to others to learn from them. So as long as you are willing to admit that the art of comparison is toxic. Look, I've been an athlete. I've been in competing sports all my life. I didn't know this growing up, right? Like, I compared myself to other people. I want to shoot better than that point guard. I want to dribble faster than that point guard. That is what I think Dr. Jean is relating to. That, to me, is giving me powerful motivation to be better. But just the art of me comparing myself to somebody else made it toxic. You can't tell me that looking at somebody else's stuff and looking at what someone else is doing and saying, I want to be better or I want to learn from that isn't in and of itself just naturally toxic. I think it's how we react to that toxicity. Is that a word? You know, I do my Mario-isms. Every scope I make up a word. Did I just make up a word, people? Someone look up. I can't look up on my phone right now and find out if toxicity is a word. Whitey Cracker, is toxicity a word? Yes or no? It is a word? Okay. Darn, thought I made up a new one for my Mario-isms book. Damn. Yes, lunchpreneurs, I've been off a scope for a minute, just for a few days. But I'm back and I'm doing like 2 to 3 a day. Right now, I'm giving you the word of the day. For those of you that are just joining, Mario Armstrong from the Today Show. You know me for technology and entrepreneurship and pursuing my dreams and my passions and my goals. And I also am the founder of the Never Settle Club. Look, if you're feeling any of this information I'm sharing with you and you feel like you're on an island by yourself, you feel like people don't relate to you, we got 3,500 passionate, positive people in the Never Settle Club group. You got to get into our group. It's a free group. You can join it on Facebook. It's free. Like, get off this damn scope. Seriously, my word of the day is toxic. You can watch this scope on replay. I'm more wanting to help people that really feel like they're in a negative funnel right now, or they're dealing with a negative current and they can't get out of it. We got your back. So if you need a positive community with real results, tangible ideas, tactical advice, and substance, you got to join the Never Settle Club. Just go to Facebook and join the group. It's a closed group, Never Settle Club. Do it right now. We'll it's closed, but we'll get you guys added in. Do it right now. Get off of this scope. You can watch this on replay. For those of you that are already in the club, thank you for shouting out. It's an awesome group. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, team, for that. The bottom line with today's word of the day, toxic. It's not just a relationship. It's not just a situation. It's not just something. It's not just a person. Yes, it's Never Settle Club, Robin Robinson. Thank you. It's Never Settle Club in Facebook. You can go to neversettleclub.com as well. But if you really want to get immediate access to positive people that are doing great things and you want to be a part of that and you want to feel some of that and share your goals and your dreams and your desires and see a bunch of people help you achieve that, then you want to go to facebook.com and then search on the group Never Settle Club. Your scopes are like church, always positive. Yeah, Able Digital, that's why this TV show is going to take off, man. If I just get my own talk show platform that we're working on and we start highlighting real people and real stories and doing real talk, but we integrate social media that's live on the spot, it can't go anywhere but up. So anyway, that's why we think it should be a Saturday or Sunday show, once a week TV show. So anyway, the bottom line I'm saying is today the word is toxic. And really what I want you to focus on is toxic thoughts. I feel like we have toxic thoughts. Human beings have toxic thoughts. So in order to recognize Able Digital asked, how do we shut them down? I want to get to that really quick of how it worked for me. First off, recognize that we have toxic thoughts. The minute you recognize it, you can identify it, then you can shut down the virus. The second thing is, how do you shut it down? Number one, being able to identify. If you can't identify your toxic thoughts, you're fooling yourself or you're not being true to yourself. And that's only hurting you. That's not hurting anybody else. Number two, the way to shut it down is once you actually recognize that, you sit in that moment for a second. You sit in that toxin. You sit in that poison. Sit in it. Like let it seep in and let it sit with you for a second. And then you have to ask yourself, why? Why did I just do that? Why did I just have that thought? Recognize the trigger, so identify it. Once you identify it, hold on. Don't just dismiss it. Hold on to it because you need to know why you thought that up. For me, the other day, I looked in Periscope, saw someone else's scope, looked up how many followers they have. I said, this is bullshit. They're not doing, these scopes aren't bringing that much value. Who the hell am I to say that somebody else's scopes aren't bringing someone else value? Clearly, they're getting followers. Clearly, someone else might be getting value out of it. I have no right to judge somebody else's scope because they're killing it, and I needed to look in the mirror and be upset with myself because I'm not killing it the way I want to kill it. That's a toxic thought. I had to sit in that moment and realize, why the hell did I do this? Why did I do this? Yes, Nicole, I would love that. We can pass the scope. I'm about to wrap up. Follow Nicole Hawk. If you're going to do it, I would love for you to take this up and take it to the therapist level. Take us into the science and the medicine. Take us beyond the emotion and the feeling and the experience level that I'm at because I'm not in medicine. So I had to sit in that poison. And when I sat in that poison, I said, Mario, at the end of the day, you want to do better. You want to reach more people. You are upset because someone else is reaching potentially, right? Potentially reaching more people. Just because you have more numbers doesn't mean you're having more impact. Let me say that one more time. Just because you have more numbers does not mean you're having more impact. You understand what I'm saying? Just because you have a ton of numbers does not mean you are having a ton of impact. So, with that thought, with me sitting there saying, why am I judging myself against somebody else? Why am I thinking of this situation in a toxic way? I actually realized it's all me. I'm in control of the situation. Dr. John, I'll be in town for a couple days, and then I'll be back next week for a couple days. I'm in town like once a week for like 2 or 3 days at a time. So you can always get me. So that was it for me. Once I realized it's not who you're comparing yourself to. Stop it. Cut the crap. It has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that you are unhappy personally with what you think you are putting out there and what you assume needs to happen as a reflection or as a measurement of your success. And you assume that having a ton of numbers means that your messages are a success. And it's like, you know what, man? Just produce value. Just produce value. I want to say shut the F up to myself. Shut the F up. Grab your ball, go home, get off the damn court, stop complaining, pick your damn head up, stop boo-hooing, stop being a baby about this shit, stop comparing, pick your damn head up, grab your ball, go the hell home, and just bring value. Boom. That's it. If it gets growth in numbers, it gets growth. If you get hearts, you get hearts. If you don't, and you know that you have the right intent and you are positively sharing the best value that you can share on this planet at this point in time, and you're bringing your full self with your full gift and your full potential, the hell with all the other shit. I'm out. Seriously. That's it. Word of the day, toxic. If you're seeing me for the first time, I'd love for you to follow me. I also do scopes about technology. I do demos. I also help with inspiration, and I also help you understand how you can use technology to live a more productive, fulfilling life. All right? And yes, we did finish painting that damn garage. I love you guys, man. I hope some of you really got this. Drop the mother blicking mic. Toxic is the word of the day. Toxic thoughts specifically is what you want to be able to rid yourself of.